And we're live from the Red Lake Nation on the shores of the mighty Red Lake. Bonjour! Welcome to another episode of the Johnny R. Podcast. My name is John Roberts, enrolled member of the Red Lake Nation. On this Father's Day, which is my 23rd, how do you say it? This will be my 23rd Father's Day. And I became a father September 1995. Had my first Father's Day June of 1996. And, I'm a father I got 4 of my own children and numerous foster kids over the years, but this last batch of foster kids, I don't like calling them foster kids anymore, because we've had them all since birth, well, except for the twins we just got a couple months ago. But those 6 are, I consider them, well, all the kids that came into our home, we treated them like our own, so they weren't any different. But our new batch of kids, since we've had them since birth, we're all they know. So legally, we adopted 1. We're in the process of adopting 2 more, and then the other 3 will come later. But this is kind of a weird holiday. Well, not a holiday, but I don't know. These aren't called holidays. We don't get a day off from work. But me, I grew up Red Lake. My mom raised me. My dad left when I was about 2. So I know that because I have a brother that's 34 months younger than I am. So my dad left when I was around 2, and he'd show up every now and then. Not really much enough to make an impact on me, as a young Ojibwe boy, growing up in first few years in Minneapolis, and then the rest of my life in the Red Lake Reservation. But I had my grandpa, Lawrence Shorty Roberts. He was the main influence on me growing up. Though I didn't get his work ethic or his craftsmanship, I did pick up, I suppose, a few traits of his. Another one was my Uncle Joe. He was also there, and I picked up a lot from him. I pretty much most of what I suppose my humor, picked up my humor from him. Though every time we have family gatherings, it's pretty much all the whole family's pretty funny, like to joke around. And my mom married in 1985, so my stepdad Mike Bolio has been around since about 34 years, and he's the one that pretty much raised me with my mom. So he tried to teach me to hunt, teach me to fish, but I realized at a young age that the outdoorsman life wasn't for me, because I'd rather just sit there and read the paper or read a Sports Illustrated. And he did what he could to try and show me the ways, but I just wasn't interested. But now that I'm older, I'm kind of wishing that I paid more attention, because I want to start hunting now. Never shot my first deer, but I have fished. I am a fisherman. Not really, but I'm scared to go on that lake. Other than that, just the whole Father's Day thing is not really for me until I became a father myself. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to say that, but even growing up, most of the guys I grew up with, they didn't have Well, maybe a couple of them had their dads at home, but the rest of us, we were had to rely on uncles and grandfathers and stepdads. But it's one of those things. Getting older, I realized how stupid I was. I had a really bad drinking problem in my teens and 20s. It took me away from my family, which now that I think about it, I'm really embarrassed. I was always there for my kids. My wife and I have been together since '94. But it's just, I have this, I know it's just me, the way I think. It's I feel like my kids should be angry with me because of the way I was, and I provided for them, but I was always drinking. Drinking wasn't my main focus. It was just, became a father at a young age, and I had a lot of growing up to do. And still to this day, I'll still make some stupid mistakes being out and about, but not as often. It's just I have this. I don't know if it's my kids have every right to be angry with me for the way I was, and I feel like they are, even though they don't show it. They don't, they never really say anything to me, but it's just, just the way I think. I don't lie to myself. I'm pretty honest with myself, I think, and hard on myself because of the kind of father I was when I was younger. Even today, I've never been a emotional guy, never affectionate guy. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. My mom was pretty affectionate with me growing up. I don't really remember too many people, just my aunts being really, affectionate and lovey to me, and hugging, embracing me all the time. Think about my uncles. My Uncle Joe, he wasn't like that with me. My other uncles on my mom's side, they all lived far away, so we didn't really have a connection like my Uncle Joe. But then on my dad's side, he's the only male, so, which is a weird thing about my family. My dad, he's the youngest of his family, and he's the only boy. And of my mom's kids, I'm the youngest, and I'm the only boy. And my son Jackson, he's our youngest, and he's the only boy. So it's kind of weird, but kind of awesome. That was just a fun fact about my family. But I'm still trying to. I don't know. I'm not really affectionate as I should be, I suppose. But I suppose I'm too old to even try to be like that. I don't know. I suppose I could change, or I don't know. There's just something weird about me. I see all these people, they have strong connections with their pets. My wife is the same way. And the way I think of it, I don't know why I think this way, but I think of it as, why invite something to get close to you when you know it's not gonna live forever, and you're gonna be heartbroken? Why invite that? Why invite that? Inevitable pain. Is that weird? I think that's just the way I think. I'm just. I won't say I'm a loner. I don't really get close to too many people. I got issues, I suppose. I tried to go to a therapist a couple of years ago, and it didn't work for me. I didn't like the way it was going, so I quit going. They tell me I need to open up more, be more giving, let people in. But where I'm from, what I've experienced is that if you let people in, you share stuff, that shit's going to be used against you later on. So, I don't know where I got that from, but it's just the way I am, It seems like I share more about myself when I'm on stage performing comedy than I do hanging out with people. On the rare occasion that I do hang out with people. But when I have a few too many, I suppose I don't share too much either, but I just get honest, brutally honest, and I hurt feelings. I don't do it deliberately. I just feel like, I don't even know. It's the alcohol talking. Maybe I shouldn't do alcohol anymore. But it's fun. Actually, it's not as fun anymore at this age. I went out a couple weeks ago, and it was, I don't know. I didn't. It's like I'm trying to recapture the glory of my younger years and get on out having fun, raising hell, talking shit, goofing off. But it's not fun anymore. So maybe I will quit. But that's just more pressure on me when I say I quit. So I just won't do it as much. Maybe I will quit. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But that's me. I'm a weird guy. I'm odd. The way I think is, I don't know if anybody thinks like this. I don't know. I don't know where this came from. I don't know if the whole Father's Day thing, brought all this out. But I blame my dad. It's all his fault. So whatever's wrong with me, it's his fault. So there. So blame him. I'm just kidding. I'll be alright. But I'm gonna. It's an Ojibwe word. I'm gonna. Just kidding. But right now, there's a vicious meal being cooked in my honor for to celebrate Father's Day, which is awesome because I'm really hungry. All I had today was a bowl of cereal and a personal pizza. I suppose that's a lot, but I'm still hungry. But hopefully, maybe I should write this all out in a book. From what I remember when I was younger, growing up in Minneapolis, the projects. I remember a lot. I remember specifically I had my 4th birthday at my Grandma Maggie and my Grandpa Shorty's, and I'm pretty sure we lived up here then. So 3 and younger, I remember growing up in the cities. I remember this time I woke up, it was dark time. It was, or nighttime, whichever you prefer. But it was dark out. I woke up and I heard the song Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac. All the lights in the house were out. Well, we lived in the projects at the time. So was that an apartment? Whatever that is. The whole place was dark. I went downstairs. The stereo's blasting. Fleetwood Mac song, and I looked all over the place. Nobody was home. I don't remember. I know my mom went out, and then I guess I had a babysitter that wandered off on me. But anyway, I was walking up and down the projects, no more than 3 years old, looking for my mom. And then it just so happened our neighbors, I knew that kid I know it was a Fairbanks kid. I just for some reason I always remember that last name, Fairbanks, and he lived next door to us, maybe a couple houses down. And remember him taking me to his house. You know, he let me play with his cool toys, and his mom must have called. I don't know if the projects had security at the time, or if they have security now. But I remember like an authority figure, you know, on a radio calling around and stuff, and then they took me back out, and I don't know where they were taking me. But then my cousin Doreen, she come running up and grabbed me and told me that she was babysitting me, and that she just went down the street for a little bit. And to this day, every time I hear that Fleetwood Mac song, "Go Your Own Way," I think of waking up in a dark house by myself and nobody around. So that sounds so sad, but everything worked out. The 70s were a different time, you know, where kids could wander around and everybody looked out for each other. But that's I also remember, like, you know, playing around in projects and with all the other kids. My Auntie Glenda, I forgot what her last name, Fairbanks, Glenda Fairbanks, my mom's friend, called her Auntie. Just little things I remember growing up in the cities, even though I was only no more than 3 years old. Moved up to Minneapolis or Red Lake. Remember, I don't know if this is true, but I always remember riding the bus from Minneapolis to Bemidji, and I remember a cop driving me to my Aunt Mani's, dropping me off. I'm pretty sure it was Dash Lusher. The late Dash Lusher was driving me to my Marie Hardy's, my aunt. We called her Mani, but her name was Marie Hardy. And those tan cruisers the Red Lake Police Department had. So I don't know how, if I rode the bus by myself. I always thought I did. You know, I always thought I rode the bus by myself from Minneapolis to, you know, somebody could, you know, prove me wrong, but that's just the way I remember it. Those are the days, man. Well, I suppose kids fly by themselves now, but they have like they pay the airline to help them. But I was on the Greyhound by myself. That was like 8 hours on the bus all by myself. I think, I don't know. Maybe I just remember it wrong. Maybe I just dreamt that, but I never really asked about those times. I don't know why. Maybe I'd rather be left in the dark about being a kid, because there's a lot of shit I saw when I was a kid that I never really shared with anybody. You know, stuff that was considered normal. Now that I'm getting older, I realize the things that stuff like that wasn't normal. You know, it shouldn't have been happening, and it's definitely is a different time, man. You know, it's rare that I let my kids go anywhere I don't know. Just overprotective, even though my teenage daughter now, she doesn't get it yet. You know, she's dodged a couple bullets being stupid. Hopefully all my anger has scared her, because, you know, I never yell at my children, but when they scare me, that's when I let them have it. My oldest one was like that to me, and now my youngest daughter is like that, testing me. Oh, I'll be okay. Oh, yeah, that's what everybody says, but whatever. I don't know, I'm just rambling on this, my 23rd Father's Day. I've doing this since 1995. Firstborn is 22 years old. Just hopefully I'm not raising jerk kids, you know. Hopefully they grow up to be special people that contribute positively to society and not be lazy bums that get caught up in bad habits. That's a main thing, man. You gotta make sure these young ones don't get caught up in bad habits. But some of them, that's all they know. That's what they grow up around, and there's really, you just hope that a lot of these kids are smart enough and brave enough to stay away from that. But it's kind of hard, the kind of job I do, I see it quite regularly. One thing I've noticed about working where I am, dealing with foster kids, and when I coached and worked at the high school, it's just a lot of the males, they don't have respect for women. I don't know if it's they see their fathers, disrespecting women, or their fathers aren't around and seeing women just, I don't know what it is. 'Cause I've dealt with that firsthand. Kids I've had were like that. It's the positive male influence is lacking around here, and that's just the truth, man. I think I'm full of shit. I'm not, or am I? I don't know. But that's just what I see. I'm not an expert. I don't have a PhD or a master's or even a bachelor's. I have enough credits for my associates, though. So, and I watch a lot of TV, and I go to court a lot. And what else? That's pretty much all. Those are my qualifications. But, so happy Father's Day to everybody. I don't even know if I'll post this. This was just a wicked rambling session. I feel weird talking about what I just talked about. People might look at me different now because I'm so weird. I don't know. But it's the way I grew up, man. Grew up red like real dad wasn't around as much as he should have been. I don't blame him. Just the way it is around here. People don't want to stay loyal. I don't know what it is. Abandoning all these kids. Something's got to change. And a new chairman or re-electing the same chairman's not going to change any of it. I'm scared with this upcoming runoff election. Nothing's going to change. We need drastic changes that nobody wants to make. I don't know what I would do, but if we stay the course, I got that from Terminator Salvation. If we stay the course, we're dead. We're dead. That's what John Connor said. Maybe I'm the next John Connor. I gotta save the res, but can't do it, man. I'm too old, too slow, not smart enough. I'm too busy with these kids here. I can't leave them. I'm trying to raise these kids to be positive influences on the community. Though there are times where it's pretty frustrating, but shit, man, this work has to be done. It really does. We struggle at times, but we keep going. I give all the credit to my wife for steering us in the right direction. Because if it was up to me, I'm selfish. But open up our home to these kids, so we have an obligation to these kids, and to set an example for them. And we can't do anything else about everybody else, but we're doing what we can. hopefully the rest of the tribe follows us, or discontinues making bad decisions and practicing bad habits. Because once you start experimenting, they say some of these drugs are the ultimate high, but it's not going to be worth it once you get addicted. Addiction is a bitch. So I'm told. I was listening to Kevin Smith on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he was talking about Jason Mewes, Jay and Silent Bob, talking about how Jay's doctor told him that coming off a heroin addiction is like if you sat on your hand, and you know how that feeling is when that blood comes back all numb or whatever, like a sleeping hand. He said multiply that by 5 million. That's what coming off heroin is like. And that would scare the shit out of me. I was on Oxycontin for about a month there. And I come off those, and those were a bitch. And I didn't realize it at the time. That's what it was. But I can imagine being addicted to heroin. So all you kids out there, you shouldn't even start. I don't know about meth, but that's probably even worse than coming off heroin. So it's just sad we have drug dealers preying on our vulnerable youth or vulnerable people around here. People that are, just want to escape reality, and they end up getting addicted. That's the sad truth of the Red Lake Nation right now. I don't know what we're going to do to fix it, but I know these upcoming elections aren't going to fix it. I know that for sure. But I'm going to go eat my dinner before I get all preachy, so thanks for listening, and happy Father's Day to all you fathers, and I'll be back when I get back.